Welcome to Technically Analyzed for the first technical analysis of NIO, China's EV star. This is Dr.B on Webull, and I will be analyzing NIO chart today, December 10, before the market. You can follow me on Twitter at TAnalyzed for analysis tweets, video updates, and to participate in polls to pick the next ticker to be technically analyzed. NIO was the one picked today. Before we get started, I would like to remind you that I'm not a professional technical analyst, trader, investor, or financial advisor. So this video is my personal analysis and I'm happy to share it with you. So please use the information here with caution and do your own due diligence. Alright, so let's talk technical analysis. If you watched any of my previous videos, you will know that I like to use a combination of technical indicators and charting tools to confirm the technical signals I'm seeing. So the major charting tool I like to use is the Andrews Pitchfork tool because it gives me good indication of the support and resistance trend lines defining the channel through which the price is moving. So this is one of the examples here of, or a couple of them, of the Andrews Pitchforks. So as you can see here, the price action is actually confirming to this resistance, and then it drops, here's support, and it keeps doing this until at a certain point it gets enough momentum and catalyst to break out of these channels and form new channels. So I have already drawn a couple of these channels, as you can see here, trying to follow NIO's action as it gets here with its price, and then it gets really higher slope and then even higher slope until we got to the end of November and early December when something happened, which was the bell in the house discussing the delisting of Chinese companies from the United States Stock Exchange. So in this case, what happened is that people reacted to this and there was fear, so people started to sell, and that's why we had here this selling. And then on December 2nd, this is when the bell was actually passed, and this is where people started to buy it because the company's solid and people understood that now is the time to buy the fear, and that's why they bought a lot of this company here, and since then it's actually trading a little bit of a sideways. All right, so let's have a look at this, and then for all of these channels we are not really going to use all of them. So this one was very early on and now it's not very relevant, so I'm going to remove it. And then here I have this last channel before we drop. I wouldn't say it's irrelevant because I'm hoping at a certain point we are going to go back to it actually. So I'm just going to gray it out so this way it doesn't distract us. So I'm leaving 3 channels here. The one right before that channel that we dropped out of, so this channel, and then another channel that is representing the downtrend of this price action right now, and a third channel that I drew with the little information that we have. So this I'm not very 100% sure of. I cannot trust it 100% at this point, but it seems to be working well for now. All right, so these 3 channels are very important for us because if you look at the price action as it drops from this high slope channel before it drops, we will notice that for the downtrend we draw it actually around that drop, and that's why it's confirming really well. And you can see here resistance, rejection here, and it stays above, and then it drops, and then it stays at the center or the median line, then drops all the way down below the support level, but then gets rejected and goes and closes right above the support level, and it keeps going, as you can see here, maybe over goes over the support or the resistance sometimes, but at the end it's really following that channel. Now that is one of the channels, that's good, but then we noticed that actually this channel was some kind of a port that took us from that channel back to the old channel that we had before. So you can see here that we dropped and then it bounced off the resistance, the outer resistance of that channel. Then the next day it started actually from within that channel, went all the way down to test the median of that channel, gets rejected, and then it closes outside of the resistance of that channel. So that's interesting. And then here the next day with the momentum, it stayed up outside of the channel. Okay, but then the following day it dropped, tried to go below that resistance line, which is now acting as a support, and then it gets rejected and closes above it. Then here it goes, tries to escape out of this channel, but then it gets rejected and closes just below it. And it keeps doing this, and here then another day that tries to escape, but it gets rejected and stays here, and then it drops again, and now it tries to go below this, but then gets rejected and it stays above that support level. So that's interesting. It took us back to that old channel, and that's why I kept it. Now, the third channel that we're talking about is that big channel, which we just drew with this information. So you can see here that it's actually confirming to that median line. Rejection, stays above, and then goes all the way down. Then it stays above this line, goes all the way down, and this is the lower support, and then goes here, and so on. As you can see here, it's following all of these. Now, why I'm saying these three channels are important, it's because this candle yesterday is actually bouncing off the intersection of these three channels at this point. It's bouncing off the median of the downward channel, as we can see here. It's bouncing off the inner resistance, which is acting now as a support of that channel, and it's bouncing off the outer resistance or support, sorry, of the outer of the big channel. So you see, it's here, it's this point of intersection. That's why it's crossroads, and it's really very hard to say where we are heading. All right, because it could be that we are going to drop further in that red channel, right? It could be that we will drop further in this red channel, but then we are going to ride that old channel. And it could be that we are going to actually bounce back up, and then we just continue in that higher channel, which is very nice because it's parallel to that old channel that we had here before we drop out. So you see here, that's the point. It's very difficult at this point to decide where we are heading. All right, so that's why we will need to get some kind of help from other tools. So here, if we draw the retracement levels of Fibonacci, we will notice here that we are actually going up off the 61% level. So there is a possibility that we are going to bounce back up there. Now, where should we look at for today and the next day? So today I would be looking at this level here. All right, so let's actually look. So because here, notice here that this downtrend is really strong. You had 3 black crows, and then we had some kind of bullish that is actually very bearish, and then we have a bullish engulfing, which should be a strong bounce back, but then it's followed by an evening star, right? So these 3 days are forming an evening star, which is a very strong bearish signal. So because of these signals, that pattern I'm seeing here, I would actually say that we are going to drop even further. All right, I am seeing less probability of going up really, and if we go up, it's going to be a very slow rise, and it's not going to really go places there, because it's just going to have so much resistance in there that is going to keep it at low levels. So that is, I'm seeing that we could drop further, and the way I'm seeing it is that we can, since we bounced off the median line here, then we could be dropping further to that level, which is somewhere close to the median line of that channel here, and also the outer support of the downward channel. All right, so that's where I'm seeing this happening. All right, so let's have a look at other indicators. So if we look at the RSI, we will notice that the RSI is not overbought, but at the same time it's not oversold. It's somewhere in between, which tells us that we can actually drop further still. That's fine, because this is pointing down. It's still not oversold, so which tells you that you could drop. That's the RSI. We could also look at, if you look at the super trend, actually the super trend, that's very, look at that. The super trend is, by the way, the super trend acts as a support and resistance, very strong support and resistance. You notice here that bounce, that bounce is almost off the super trend. So the super trend is green. It's telling us that we are in a bullish trend still, even though we are dropping here, but it's a bullish trend. Now the thing is, it acted as a support, but also at the same time, it's actually it's aligned perfectly with the median line of that channel here. All right, so that is very interesting to be aligned here with it to some extent. All right, so the other thing here that we are considering is that, now why I'm not very convinced we are going to drop also that much is because you will notice here that this is actually creating higher lows, right? So there is some kind of higher lows here, so there is a possibility of going up. So let's have a look at lower time frames to get some sense, and especially that actually we are recording that video late this time. It's not pre-market, so the market is open. The pre-market is on, and that's why we can get some sense of what's happening here. So there is strong rejection from yesterday, and then now this is very indecisive. It doesn't tell us anything. Then here, let's have a look at the 2 hours. The 2 hours is actually bouncing back up, right, compared to this this level here, right? See here how in the pre-market it bounced. That's rejection here, this is holding. All right, but at the same time, so don't get overexcited really quickly, because at the same time it's getting rejected at the outer level of, or sorry, the outer the inner resistance level of the downtrend channel. All right, so that is again doesn't really tell us much, but at least we can visualize what's going on. We can see what's happening here. If you are not having these channels, you wouldn't be able to say like, why would it stop here, right? So now we know. Now here you will notice here that the EMAs are actually starting to curl back up, which is nice, so that's good. So I'm seeing here more, it's reflecting that actually it's a lagging indicator, so it's telling you that this green candle is the one that pushed these indicators up, but that's good. Actually it's dropping back down, so nope, that's not going to be going up. All right, so again I am seeing it going down, probably maybe that median line, or maybe lower, or maybe actually it can hold, by the way, because I'm seeing a lot of signals saying we should go up, a lot of signals saying we should go down. It could be actually balanced out and just trade a little bit sideways this way, creating higher lows on a very long, see here, that's like 2 or 3 days of trading, and then maybe spike at certain point here. All right, so again 1 hour, it's still here rejected, so that's really doesn't tell us much on where we are heading again. So that's the tricky part. So in this case, in this situation, if you are not in the trade, I would really wait. Don't get overexcited by the 1 minute chart and see something like this and say, oh, this is very bullish, see it's dropping. So I wouldn't really recommend that you just go with the 1 minute and say, oh, it's really going up, because you need to look at the bigger context, the bigger picture here, right? The bigger picture is that you are just at this point here, right? So rising so strong from here to here doesn't really mean much, because you got rejected and you are dropping right now. All right, so that's not going to really add much to you. All right, unless you're making, like, unless that's your trading style, that's your game, then maybe that's something you're doing. All right, so that is NIO's analysis. I would wait. I would be looking at these levels. I would be looking at that level here of breaking this one, right? So we have one here. We have another one here. Let's draw this horizontal line. And the third one would be checking if we can actually break or hold at least this in this range here, right? So these are the three major levels. So let me show you these levels. All right, so these are the three levels I would be looking at to make sure that we are actually in one of these upward channels and not going to drop further, so you don't get stuck here. Don't buy here and then drop. If you are holding for a long time, by the way, NIO is bullish, and it won't really make a big difference if you buy here or here. Of course, the lower the better, but I'm just saying that it's not going to be that big of a difference, because I'm seeing NIO going bullish and it's going back up and it's going to pick up from where it left. But that was a break that it needed, and it just came, so that's good. So anyway, so let me know in the comments below, what do you think, and if you are interested in seeing more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel to help me stay motivated to create more videos, because it gives me some sense of how people are interested in the contents of this channel. So good luck everyone, and see you in a future video.